Discipline can be such an amazing thing if your perspective on it is changed. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Name's Undeezy, and today we're going to talk about Paris and how fun that was for me and my wife, but also I wanted to highlight how I use discipline to get me there. We only had about 2 days in Paris. It was one of the stops that we were gonna go to while we were making our way around Europe for 2.5 weeks. Almost didn't go because I was wondering if like people from Paris, Parisians would be rude or anything like that. I know with Americans, we always think that people in Paris don't like us. But I'm gonna tell you, I had an amazing time. It was probably one of the best countries I've ever been to in Europe. And then on top of that, the people were super nice. And I'll tell you a little trick on how I was able just to have a cool, calm time with most Parisians I ran into. It was really simple, actually. So the first thing we did after we got off the train was we actually checked into our hotel. And as you can see, the room is pretty nice. It's a bit small compared to like American standards, but it was just what we needed. We didn't want to stay in the room too long. You know, I like to get out and about right away. That's, I wasn't gonna take no nap. But before I did that, the hotel staff did let us know about like a special club area where there were free snacks, free breakfast. So we wanted to check that out really quickly. And as you can see, cute little snacks here and there just to kind of hold you over. But we was like, let's get some real food. Me and my wife weren't necessarily too excited about like French cuisine, but if I'm in France, I'm gonna try it out. So first thing I did was get on TikTok. I didn't do a lot of research prior to because I know we were only gonna be here for a few days. So kind of looked up this restaurant on the fly and we went to go check it out. I will be straight up though, the food was not very good. I don't know if it was because I got something that maybe wasn't as desirable. I got a skirt steak. It was very tough, not very flavorful, and it was kind of expensive, so I wouldn't recommend it myself as far as a specific meal. But go check it out and there might be something cool on the menu. I know they had a really good cocktail that I enjoyed, and I was tempted to try the frog legs, but I ended up not doing it. I was like, I don't want to get sick and ruin like the rest of our trips. I don't know, if you feeling wild, try it yourself and let me know what you think about it. Or if you had it before, comment and let me know. I'm kind of interested. One of the first places we went to obviously was the Eiffel Tower. It was breathtaking. It was amazing. And it was really cool just to see it in person. Being from New Orleans and my family not having the most money growing up, we didn't really vacation or travel a lot. In my mind, I'm like, how do I even know if it's real? I mean, you hear about Europe, you hear about this, you hear about that, but until I see it, how do I know it's really real? And of course, I know that it's there, but I'm trying to just explain like the idea of like seeing something for the first time that you had heard about since elementary school. Everybody's heard about the Eiffel Tower. So seeing the Eiffel Tower for the first time was amazing. And it was actually right before the Olympics, so we got to see a bit of decorations. It would have been cool to go to the Olympics, but I know the price would have been like double or triple what we paid. One thing that's really cool about the Eiffel Tower is whenever it gets dark, every hour on the hour, it sparkles. And it just makes it just such a magical scene. And after that, we kind of wrapped it up for day one. Again, we only had 2 days and we had arrived in Paris maybe around noon on the first day. So we wanted to kind of conserve energy because we have a full day scheduled tomorrow. Day two, the first thing we wanted to do was see Arc de Triomphe. We recently had seen the movie Napoleon, and we know that this monument pays homage to him. Great movie if you haven't seen it. But wow, look how beautiful and big this is. All the different architecture and all the attention to detail. Pictures don't do it justice. Make sure you come see this site if you come to Paris. After Arc de Triomphe, we ended up going to the Louvre. That is, of course, where the Mona Lisa is. We did not go in because can you see this line? And you'll find out later that we couldn't avoid the crowd. Anytime you go to Europe, really in the summer, you're gonna run into crowds. Shoulder season is a lot better option, but that's just the only time we could go this time because my wife's a teacher, so she's off during the summer, so that's where we're gonna go to most of our vacations. But anyways, we did not get in line again because if we only had one day, I didn't want to spend a good 3-4 hours in line. Maybe that'll be something we do on our second time back. Here's a cool park we went to right after the Louvre. It was super nice, very beautiful day, and we were just soaking in that sun. To try a croissant. It was definitely something that was on my bucket list, and it definitely impressed. Way better than like the Walmart ones that you get out of their bakery. So I'll be craving that until we go back next time. Next, we had wanted to go to Montmartre. Everybody on TikTok was posting about this, so I said we gotta go check it out. To get there was a challenge. The stairs were atrocious. We only found out that you can actually take a bus to get up there after we had already walked up there. But I will say a cool thing about walking up there is we did run into this lady who actually was from New Orleans. We saw her with a shirt on. I stopped and talked to her, and her husband had recently moved to Paris from New Orleans. And it was cool because I'm from New Orleans and we had a little bit of a moment. And just look at the footage of inside this church. I haven't seen anything this beautiful in the States ever. Our last stop of the day was the Palace of Versailles. This was something Mel really wanted to go see, so we ended up going. And it was a pretty good time aside from the fact that the crowds were ridiculous. Again, that's the only time we can go typically on vacation is during the summer when Mel's off from work. But we might have to squeeze something in during winter. wrapped it up with dinner. This place was a lot better than the first one. Highly recommended. It's a little neighborhood behind the Eiffel Tower. And then the last thing we did was Uber home. We had an early flight to Prague the next day, so we wanted to make sure we got our rest in. 2 quick tips to make Paris a more enjoyable experience is, one, before you ask anybody for anything or order something, just say bonjour. I promise you it'll make the interaction after that so much better. And then the second thing is carry euros or whatever currency is valid within that country around with you, because the bathrooms are not free. For sure. You don't want to have to go back to your hotel every 2 to 3 hours, so just carry some euros around or you will not get in the bathrooms. I guarantee you that. Comment below if you've ever been to any of the places that I showed in this vlog. This is the part of the video where we switch gears and we move into discipline. It's so fun to think about Paris and the wonderful time I had there. However, one thing I did want to highlight is how I use discipline to be able to make that a reality. And I know some of y'all growing up, when y'all thinking about discipline, y'all be thinking about getting a whooping, getting grounded. I'm in that camp, I get that. But let's think about discipline in a different way. How did I do it? Essentially, me and my wife like to go out and we love cocktails and we like to eat at pretty fancy places. That's just the thing we like. It can be pretty expensive, unfortunately, living in Austin. The only issue is we didn't have anything to do on a Friday night. We would go out, get cocktails, have nice expensive dinners, just because we didn't have anything else to do. We were bored. But we thought, okay, well, let's do something more phenomenal than just going out to eat. Let's go to Europe. So if we spent maybe like $100 every Friday, that's $400 a month worth of just kind of going out to eat. So over the course of like 6 months, we ended up saving all of that money. We used that to start to put money down for Europe. And at first it seemed like it was impossible. It's like, that's a lot of money, But us choosing to save money and be disciplined, choosing Paris over going out to eat, eventually got us to Europe, and we had an amazing time. A lot of people tend to think that discipline is restrictive. You can never do what you want to do. You have to wake up really early. You have to stay late. But let's change your perspective on that. Let's think about it this way. Discipline allows you to have whatever you want because you're choosing decisions that get you to whatever you want. So let's talk about it. Let's say you want to go to the NFL. You have to wake up at 6 to practice maybe, or do 2-a-days instead of sitting on the couch playing Call of Duty or whatever. But by you choosing to go to football practice 2 times a day, you increase your chances of being able to go to NFL as opposed to settling for less and sitting down playing games all day. When you truly understand discipline, you get to have whatever you want within reason, right? But you make decisions to get whatever you want. Everybody wants to maybe not have to work a 9 to 5. Everybody wants to, be financially free. You get there through discipline. You want to travel, you get there through discipline. It really just comes down to simply making those choices that allow you to get to that outcome rather than something else. Think of it as discipline gives as opposed to discipline takes away. I would much rather think about setting up a budget so that way I can go to Europe or Australia next year, as opposed to sitting on the couch watching and binging a Netflix series. Now, there is a time and place for that. We want to enjoy life for sure, but we always want to be thinking about the next goals we have in mind and what do I need to do to be able to get there. And you get there with discipline. And you don't necessarily have to be perfect about it. Hit for a good 80-20. What are your dreams? What are your goals? And then you can start to think about those small tangible steps that'll get you there every day with discipline. It's really as simple as choosing one thing over another. It's not taking away, because the things you think about taking away, like maybe getting fast food often, or playing Call of Duty or watching Netflix, I don't really truly think those are the things that you desire. I think those are the things that you'll settle for, maybe because you're busy or out of procrastination or something like that. But I truly think that when you are locked in on what you actually want, the things that we call discipline don't sound as bad. And once you get rolling, it's like an avalanche. It's like a snowball. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it gets easier as you start to do things over and over and over again, and you build a habit. When I think about role models for discipline, there's no greater example than Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant and Mamba mentality is probably one of the biggest influences on my life when I think about discipline. Kobe got to practice early, he left practice late, and when he was on the court, he didn't really mess around too much. I mean, and that is the reason why he has so many rings. That is the reason why he's so respected. Kobe Bryant did what he needed to do, and he chose basketball over a lot of other things. Now, I'm not saying you got to be like Kobe Bryant, but at least try to get 80-20. Enjoy life, relax sometimes, watch Netflix, have that extra beer. But 80% of the time, let's try to focus on discipline. Because if it's the other way around, you're really living a life that just kind of caters to your secondary needs. But I guarantee you, what you get from discipline is going to be life-changing. Things that take us away from discipline do so much more than just cost you $10 that night. Over the course of a lifetime, if you choose other things rather than discipline, your life can go on a total different trajectory than what you had, wanted it to. I mean, imagine if Kobe never went to practice and he was like, nah, I'd rather kind of just listen to music, at the house, lay in bed. We would have never had Kobe Bryant. Kobe made a active decision every day to get up and to pursue basketball. And for that, we have that example. Imagine what you could do if you chose discipline over a lesser thing that took away from you, that took away from your time, took away from your motivation. We only have a finite time on this earth. I say you make it worthwhile. Go after what you want. Choose discipline. Choose the things that are going to grow you, as opposed to letting mediocrity and ease and laziness rule us. Okay, now it's your turn. You get it. I challenge you to think about one goal or something that you want to do within the next 6 months to a year. And then think about something you can do every day in order to make that a reality. You want to go to Europe? Save $50 a week or something like that. Take it away from going out to eat or getting an extra beer at the bar. Put that $50 away. If it's losing weight, maybe, drink water instead of that soda. Or maybe dedicate yourself to walking around the block at least 3 to 4 times a week. Those small micro decisions over the course of a long time will get you to where you want to get. And again, the whole idea is having discipline and picking the positive thing that's going to happen versus something that's more neutral and negative, like watching Netflix. Again, you can have fun. I'm not trying to sit here and be a stick in the mud, but it's the idea is I think people want more than just to watch Netflix. I think people want to, I don't know, it's kind of corny, but make their own movies, essentially. You can do that just through discipline. Comment below what you decided to do. I want to interact and see what you guys are thinking. And hey, maybe I can learn something from you guys. So let me know what you're doing and let's kick it off. And again, every day, no matter what. Because it's not necessarily about the specific goal that you have. It's the mindset that you develop by doing something every day, no matter what.